Welcome back, everybody, to Brews with Bruno. I'm Father Jorge.
I am Father Paul Calla, vocation director for the Oblates of the Virgin Mary. And today, for the first time, we have a guest, a special guest. Some of you know him, some you might even love him. We have Brother Miggo Roque. Is that how you pronounce your last name? Brother Miggo Roque?
Not Roquois.
Okay with an R.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Oh, that's great. That's how, for me, I say my name is Cal with a Lao.
Oh.
Yeah, so okay with an R. Nice. I like that. Brother Miggo Roque, who is an oblate brother, currently in his theology studies, his third year of theology, coming off freshly his pastoral year, which we'll get into all that in a little bit. But Brother Miggo, your first question,
it's a very important one,
is what is your first memory of Father Jorge?
Oh, me.
Father Jorge, my first memory of you, I think we were at St. Peter Chanel. We were in the line. You might not remember this, but we were how do you say that? In line, online, at the line?
We were in line.
In line? Sorry,
English is... He's from the Philippines, everybody.
Gen Zer.
Yeah, we were in line for confession, and I just remember I was like, hey, and you said, hi, and that's it.
Really? Yeah. That was so deep,
yeah,
you know?
That was really deep. We were both sinners, you know.
Did you know him? Was he a seminarian yet?
No. I think you were... I was talking to Father Jeremy, who was the vocations director at that point, and then you were, for some reason he mentioned you, so he was like, oh, I think there's this guy you might know, and then I think it just clicked later on that, oh, I think that was you. So
were you still in high school at that point?
Me? No, I was in college.
Wow. Do you remember what year it was?
I don't I remember you wearing a flannel shirt. Red flannel shirt.
So. I probably look like a Mexican cholo for all
that's
I
my
know.
first memory of you.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's a deep memory.
Yeah, very deep.
So
sinner. His first memory of you being a sinner.
Yeah. A need of mercy. A man of mercy. See, there you go.
Amen.
See? Or what's your first memory of Father Paul here?
Father Paul Kalal, I have a great memory. We were playing, you were there.
Yeah,
we were playing Fluff. What is it? Fluff, the board game. And I got eliminated at that point, but then I was playing with the dice, because you play with the dice, right?
We play with dice,
with dice, the board game. And then
you were
I was just stacking them like that. And then all of a sudden he goes like, boom, you know. And I go, what? And then I said, you fluffer, you know, to
oh my
Father
gosh.
Paul.
We don't say those things here.
Oh, we don't. Sorry, edit that out. But I was like, oh, Father Paul, you know, and then you were like, oh, like you were so shocked because you were, you were a brother at that point.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So
wasn't it? Didn't you call him Brother Obvious or Deacon Obvious?
That was later.
That was later.
That was later on.
Oh, okay.
That was later.
I don't even remember the story you just told. To be honest,
that was later on.
I remember
because apparently, as anyone who knows Brother Migo, I just drink Haterade.
Oh yes, he does.
All he does drink Haterade.
What is Haterade, Brother?
Haterade is a drink, a specialized, concocted, big word, by a Father Paul himself. Big Haterade.
Brother Migo's been on Google using Google synonym.
How'd you know? I was studying the dictionary before this.
You were preparing for your interview big time.
Chat GPT. Just like your bulletin of reflections in San Pedro.
Wow. I used to ghostwriter. His name was his name's Father Nathan.
Oh, we gotta get into that. All right, so should we start getting into his story?
Yeah. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, childhood, and how you came to find the Oblates of the Virgin Mary. Basically, your vocation story in a couple minutes.
Sure. Yeah. So I was born and raised in the Philippines. I grew up there, and my family and I were all raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school with the LaSallian brothers. And then when we moved, my aunt petitioned us, and when we moved to California in America, we were still practicing the faith and everything. And it was go to church every Sunday. And then it wasn't as personal, but then I knew God existed, and it's like, oh, he's over there, somewhere. And but then it became personal for me in college. It was when my friend invited me to do the spiritual exercises actually at St. Peter Chanel, our parish there, and my one of my for the first holy hour I did, because I remembered the priest there, Father Ed Broom. He was preaching, and he was like, kept on talking and talking and talking, and then and then later on
If
I was
you know.
yes.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Yes, and so he said, for the next 10 weeks, you're going to pray for 1 hour. You're gonna attend mass. You're gonna do a daily visit to the tabernacle, to church. Basically, you're gonna wake up early. And to me, I was like a college and sophomore in college, and I was just like, what? Who does that? What kind of a weird person does that? An hour at church a day, and everything like that. But then eventually I was just like, why not? I'll try it. So the next day I tried it, and it was life changing. I prayed with Moses and the burning bush, and then I really felt not just the objective part, but then the interior reality that this God thing exists. God really exists, and He's personally loving me. Really felt that. And then burning bush, I felt really the interior fire stirring within me. And then that's the universal call to holiness. And then after that, it was I think within that there was this interior call as well to serve the priesthood and enter religious life. But then that's later on, I think, unpacking that. But basically, in broad strokes, that's the main dynamics within my life, from going, in the Philippines as a kid, and then now, and then later on, finding God during college through the Oblates.
Awesome. And where were you going to college at?
I was at Cal State. How do we say California State University, Long Beach. They have two names now. Apparently, it's like that, or either Long Beach State University. I don't know why. Yeah, so
Trying to figure out their identity.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
So you're nearby, which for those of you listening, watching, whatever, that's like a stone's throw away, like 20 minutes from St. Peter Chanel there, south of Los Angeles. And so you're like 20 years old. You said sophomore?
Yeah, 19, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said, like, what weird person would do this? Like, why were you doing it? What piqued you to want to be doing the spiritual exercises that Father Ed was offering at that time?
Well, my friend really just invited me, and at first I was like, whatever, but then, my friend convinced me, and it was the parish, St. Peter Chanel, it was only 10 minutes away from my house.
Okay.
So I was like, why not? It's 10 minutes away, and it's like, all right, get to do something during college. I think I wasn't working at that point, so I had plenty of free time. We don't study when you're in college, so why not? And then really grace, I feel like. I think that was the first time I went to confession as well, ever since I came to the U.S. So at that point, probably 6 or 7 years. So at least, but yeah, so I really grace, and then, just.
Okay. And then at that point, then when after that did the discernment to priesthood and oblates of the Virgin Mary come into the picture?
Yeah, I would say early on, maybe a few weeks later after that, I was just like, I never thought about serving the church before. I remember as a kid, my mom asked me, so Miggo, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was, I think, 6 or 7, and I told her, Mom, I want to do anything at all, but be a priest, because priests, they don't have any girlfriends, And so I remember, like, it didn't really come into my mind, but then at that point, I was just really like, wow, like there's a real sense of service here. There's a real sense of fulfillment, I'd say. And so, a few weeks after that, it was basically there. But then being in college, I was just like figuring things out, discerning things, and then I actually went into dating, dated a beautiful woman at that point, and really wonderful relationship. But yeah, so it was there, but then I was in college, just really thinking things through.
Mhm.
Was there a moment there for you where you knew, like, all right, I'm dating so and so, and like, this is where God wants me?
I'd say in prayer, definitely especially within at towards the end of the relationship was great, but then towards the end, I was just really asking myself, wow, and this is serious, and it's getting to be serious now, and especially at that point, senior in college. Now, and I thought to myself, Ignatian discernment,
Mm-hmm.
imagine myself in 20 years, and 20 years, I was just like, wow, I desired at that point, 20 years in time, at least I should have at least tried. I should have at
Oh,
least
wow.
tried to be a seminarian, or at least apply. And if they rejected me, then great. I know the answer. But at least I was just like, at least try. At least try to do common Cs or do an app, apply. So I was really convinced that at least at that moment, God is calling me to be a seminarian.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where does, I mean, obviously probably from going to St. Peter Chanel, but how did you know, like, okay, I'm going to go, not just apply to the competency, but I'm going to believe the Lord is calling me to be a postulant, be a seminarian with the Oblates of the Virgin Mary?
Yeah, so when I visited here, that's when I first met you. And
Oh, that was the game
yeah,
when I knocked
that
over
was
your
the
stuff?
yes, yeah.
Good, you could take it. You're
Yes,
still
yeah.
here.
There you go. Yeah.
That's a test.
That was,
Yeah,
that was your first test.
There you go.
Can you
Yeah.
endure bullying from Father Paul?
Yes, yeah, yeah. And so I did that come and see there, and actually, what you said within that come and see, I don't know if you remember.
I don't remember any of
Yep,
this.
yeah.
I turned 40 soon, so I remember nothing.
You have plenty words of wisdom. You said just follow the peace, and I really took that to heart. Like I remember one of the things during the comments was, yeah, just literally just come and see, don't make a decision. And so I literally came and saw, I'm sorry. I literally came and saw, and then I went back to my daily routine and in college, and I was working at the same time part-time job.
Mm.
And I was just remembering that piece of advice, follow the peace. So really following the peace led me to, yeah, I think, and I feel that God is really calling me to apply. So I really followed the peace. And I was discerning within other communities as well, and at the diocese at that time. I lived in the Diocese of Orange, so I was discerning with them too, but really followed the peace. So that was great advice. Thank you.
I guess for you, now that you've been here, you entered, what's, I guess, one part of seminary life that surprised you, either in a good way or maybe a challenging way?
One part of the seminarian community dynamic is there's always an alpha, and it's. I'm the alpha now, so
I think you are the alpha.
I'm the alpha. It's great to be the alpha.
Until Brother Chris shows up after this.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But one thing that's surprising is actually how fulfilled I am feeling.
Mm-hmm.
From day one to now, I'm just so grateful. It's just been such a blessing, and it's such a privilege to live this life. I'm sorry again. Talking. Thank you. I was just reflecting about the different phases of seminary life, and now really just been. I feel like I'm living the dream. I've before seminary, I was just thinking and praying. Oh, I pray, Lord, that I just want to be a seminarian, and so I became a seminarian. Lord, when I was a postulant, Lord, I pray that I just become a novice, and when that came, oh, Lord, I just want to do your will, whatever it is, outside of seminary or stay here or profess vows. And when I profess vows, I feel like it's just a continuation of living the life that God is giving me and fulfill me in. And so really just feel fully alive. So that I feel like that's one thing that is surprising but also expected. I feel like yeah. So.
That's awesome.
It sounds though too a lot more like you know where you're supposed to be at. We'll get into it in a second about formation, like the stages and where you're at right now. But like just let me be a seminarian, let me be a postulant, let me be a novice, let me be a brother, let me take first vows. Like you're not saying that so much anymore, or are you? Like are you saying I just want to be in final vows and a deacon and a priest? So because it sounds like you're just like I know where I'm at and I'm here, I'm at home.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah, it's good to point that out. I remember as a postulant, that was one of the things that I was encouraged to pray with and think of is, yeah, just stay where you're at. Don't rush anything. First of all, the bishop isn't here to ordain you already. He's not here. You're not a priest yet. You're not a professor. You're not even a novice yet. But stay where you're at. So again, I don't know who gave me that advice, but really, I was going through it semester by semester, really. So like, oh, fall 2019 Miggo, I'm staying where I'm at, and then spring, and then summer, and then so just staying where I'm at, really being present, and so yeah, it's really that. Thank you for that. It really puts into words, yeah, knowing where I'm at and being confident in that as well. So yeah. Praise God.
So what year did you enter?
2019.
2019, yeah. So the way that formation works in religious life, and then specifically with the Oblates of the Virgin Mary, is when a man enters formation, he's in what we call the postulant stage of formation, which is basically he's here. He said yes, he's been accepted into religious life, but he's not tied to it. He's here to learn about the Oblates. He's here to start to be integrated into community life, religious life. They join us for all the community events, prayer, mass, community dinners, all that. They're going to study their philosophy as well for their duration of being a postulant, because they have to have that for the intellectual formation to be studying theology later on. But basically, like postulancy is basically like being in a serious relationship, dating. And then after those 1 to 2 years, if the postulant discerns and the community discerns that he's ready to take the next step, he enters what's called the novitiate. Novitiate you can think of as more as like an engagement almost, or the next step in that relationship, because what that 1 year is, there's no formal schooling. The novice, along with his novice master, it's being really schooled and lectured in the history of the order, but more so a very intense discernment where the question is God calling me to be an oblate of the Virgin Mary? Is he calling me to receive the evangelical counsels of poverty, chastity, and obedience? And if that's a yes, and at the end of the novitiate, he will profess his first vows, poverty, chastity, and obedience, put on the habit that we're wearing right now as oblates of the Virgin Mary, be called a brother Miggo, and then finish his formation of being a brother as a theologian, studying theology. And so you're in your third year of theology now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And also what's unique about our formation is after 2 years of studying theology, the brothers will leave Boston for a year. And that is to go into one of our smaller communities, usually one of our parishes that we staff throughout the country, to have a year of pastoral studies. And for many reasons, to live in a smaller community, to be in ministry full time. And it really is that final discernment of, is God calling me to this life, to not just be an oblate, but then to be a priest and, labor as a priest in God's vineyard here. And so you just finished that. You were at San Pedro, our parish we've been at for 3 years now, down in Northport, Florida. What was that year like for you? Like, what were the top 3 highlights of the past year being on your ministry there?
Yeah, it was nice to be in vacation, vacation land, as I call it, in Florida.
So Father Tom didn't work you hard enough, huh? That's what I'm hearing.
Please, is he listening to this, Father Tom? Father Tom.
I think he did go to the beach a lot.
But I did. Well, it's Southwest Florida is great, for that. Siesta Key, great. But there's a lot to be thankful for in the pastoral year. A lot of graces of specifically, you're right with that affirmation and really just confirmation, because I feel like before the pastoral year I was praying, I was very affirmed in my religious identity as an oblate. Like, all right, like I want to be an oblate and I want to be a religious brother, and if that's it, then great, you know. And then I was really affirmed with that, especially during novitiate and then the 2 years of vows and theology as well, studying theology. Though the priesthood kind of was just there. I was like, I knew I was studying for information, studying priesthood, priestly classes, you know. But I was just, all right, yeah, that's there. Though the pastoral year really was just affirming my, more so like getting me to focus on a different aspect of that, of priesthood, of service, of ministry, definitely. And so, um, there was a moment um, in in the pastoral year where I was asked, or I desired to lead a men's group, a group of fathers that we did the Exodus 90.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's asceticism, fasting,
Yeah.
and a fraternity, brotherhood. And I led a group of fathers
Awesome.
and multiple years of marriage, multiple kids, you know, and they're all in their mid whatevers,
Mid whatevers.
mid
They're like
40s, I think.
40 years
40,
old.
yeah, yes, yeah, they're so
Wow.
old, 40, you know. No, and sorry,
This guy's about to turn
Hater.
40. So
hater,
now who's
drink-
drinking? Go ahead.
I'm
Sorry.
drinking, and I was leading that, but then I realized at some point I was like, oh wait, I'm the youngest kid here, and but then they're all looking to me as a guidance or as a leader, and I was just shocked at that. Like they were asking me for advice or motivation. How do we do this, brother? It's like, what? Like I'm this 20-year-old something kid, and you're asking me for advice, you know? And but there was something real to that, and I realized, wow, I'm being a father to these fathers, and that was such a grace. I feel like of like, wow, okay, like there's that identity as well, and later on, going to reflect about that more, I was just hit with unworthiness. I was just like, whoa, this is, yeah, like that's father of fathers. That's really cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I've sinned so much. I've failed so much. Why am I being called to this? And so I remember there's a moment within the pastoral year, I was just kneeling in front of our Lord inside the church, and I was just by myself, and I was just in tears, and I was just like wallowing in my sin and my failures and my mistakes, and I was just with our Lord asking him, Lord, why are you calling me to this? I'm so unworthy. And then in my imaginative prayer, I imagined Father Lenteri, our founder, kneeling with me, and then I was just talking to him as well. It's like, Father Bruno Lenteri, Bruno, I don't know who you think I am, but I'm I'm not who you think I am. I'm such a failure. I always fail. I always fall, and I cannot live up to the image of a father who never fails. I'm just not that. I always fail. You know it. And in tears, I was in tears. And he was just kneeling with me, and then I felt his embrace, and he told me, "Well, Miggo, I never wanted you to be a father who never fails. Rather, I want you to be a father who never fails to always begin again." And that to me, it's like, oh, wow, that's like so obvious, But at the same time, it's like, wow, that's such a grace. I feel like yeah, we always fall. I always fall, but um, the the invitation is always to begin again, and living living up to that spirituality of Nung Chepi. It's just uh, a great grace that I've received in all the ministry, on all the doubts, all the questions. I feel like just crystallized in that very moment for me of beginning again. My past and my future and my present, all just. So I'm still unpacking it, obviously, but it was such a great grace that I'm really thankful for people and support, in the parish, especially for that grace. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
thanks for
awesome.
sharing that. Kind of hearing you say that, but yeah, it's a beautiful grace that you got there, especially from our founder. But kind of let me just ask you this: what was the biggest difference between life in the seminary and life in a parish?
Yeah, I was. It's funny because I was just talking about this. I gave a talk in a local parish, but uh, there's this. I was mentioning, yeah, what a pastoral year is, and I mentioned, yeah, uh, sometimes it's just nice to because in the seminary there's this bubble, and then sometimes it's just nice to talk to real people, and not to say that the seminarians aren't real people,
They're not. Just kidding.
but
They're not even human.
they're not even human. No, but it's just it was nice to really interact with life. And in the parish, I think one of our priests said this, Father Bob. He said the parish is the school of humanity or the book of humanity, And I really I really took that really good, right?
Yeah.
They're really good. Really took that, and it's like, wow, yeah, it's really talking to real people, real conversations, real life stories, real struggles, but real joys as well. And it was great to just accompany people through that. And within the seminary, obviously, there's real conversations happening, but then
Yeah,
just be out there.
I mean, what's what I tell guys who are discerning a vocation. That's gonna be my next question to you, but it's like we have our house here, which it's a community, so this is in some ways like this is where everything is for us as oblates. That dual vocation that I tell guys. So like you're called to be an oblate, then a priest. But I said what you're not called to be is a seminarian forever. Like, because it is that bubble, and so it's you didn't just have like that flash in the pan, where like you realize like, yeah, like I'm not called to be a seminarian, I'm called to be a priest who ministers as an oblate of the Virgin Mary. The seminary ends one day,
Yeah.
but
Thank you.
the religious vocation, the priesthood vocation, does not end. My last question, I would say, is like, in kind of as you're talking about somebody there, is like, what advice would you give to a guy discerning a vocation, in particular maybe a vocation to the Oblates of the Virgin Mary?
Yeah, I have this. I brought this.
Oh, no,
prop
no,
with me.
no.
No. Can I?
Do
can
it,
I
do
do
it,
it?
do it.
Yeah.
Yes, I give you
Well,
permission.
Oh
I
my
have
gosh, this is
prop.
embarrassing.
This is embarrassing. Someone gave this to
Yeah,
me.
not to bring out here.
Wait, who gave it to you, brother
This
Miggo?
is really renowned oblate, who just recently went to a pilgrimage to Mexico, and yeah, it's a luchador mask.
What does
as
this
you
have
could
to
see,
do
Rey Mysterio.
with?
Well, I'd say good advice is don't wear a mask. Literally, because I feel like here you go. Present for you guys.
Thank you.
Please don't
You're
put it
welcome.
on. It won't fit
my
you.
head's too big.
What about that mask?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's honestly easy to wear a mask. It's easy to wear a mask anywhere you go, and I feel like in discerning a vocation, discerning religious life, discerning priesthood, it's within my story too, that it was easy to just wear this facade, have this facade within me, and just think, oh yeah, like I'm either gonna go out to the world instead, or make a bunch of money, or just be fake around people. Or the flip side to this is, oh, I just want to be the holiest saint, and I'm gonna be like this holy, and it's just putting on a mask, And I feel like what our good Lord is asking us to do is just be ourselves with all the sin, with all the struggle, with all the joys and happiness and laughter. Just be yourself, and yeah, God is going to work with you, and He's going to heal you, and He's going to love you through that, because grace is built upon nature. And so, yeah, don't wear a luchador mask, folks.
Or any mask.
Or any mask.
I lied. Just as we wrap it up here, what's next for you? So you're in third theology, studying. You're in homiletics, so things are becoming very practical as well, which helps you get through those last few years of seminary when you just want to be done. But sometimes the best graces come at the end, like we always kind of say on retreats. And so what's next for you? What's the future look like? And you don't know all of that, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm finishing up my studies, fall semester, spring semester, and another fall semester. So 3 semesters left, theology, praise be God. And within that, there's different opportunities for pastoral ministry. I'm going to finish a thesis. I have that going on back of my mind. And a couple years of being still here in this seminary. But yeah, just like you said earlier, what touched me really was just staying present instead of being here and really savoring it more. Because I feel like, it's right now it's easy to like when I become a priest, I'm like gonna change the world now, or something like that. But now, like for me, I really am convinced that my role right now is really to savor the relish, the last bits and pieces of formation left, and really have fun and really love the Lord through formation and stay being formed. Stay being formed.
Thank you for that, Brother Miggo. Thank you for your time.
Pretty good.
Question. This is just a really quick one.
Okay.
What's your luchador name?
Luchador name. My luchador name is Mucho Miggo. Arriba, arriba, arriba.
Wait, hold on. Can you put on the
No,
mask?
no.
Put it on. Put
it on?
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter
Please
what
cut
Father
this
Paul
out.
says.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
This is so embarrassing.
This is so.
Now look at the camera over there.
Mucho Miggo, arriba.
I think he's getting red.
Just imagining all the guys I went to seminary with at St. John seeing this.
Oh no.
I think this about wraps it up, doesn't it, Father Paul?
I think so. I was just getting ready to say, it's good to see the growth and maturity in you, and not the little kid that burnt his hand off trying to fry donuts for the first time, because that happened. That's my first memory of Brother Miggo, to be honest. And then he just did that. So anyway, it was good to talk to you. We could keep going forever, I think. But maybe we'll welcome you back with certain rules and conditions.
No.
Just like when you join the church, there's rules, there's conditions. So it was good to have you.
Thank you, Brother Miggo.
Thanks for being here. Good luck.
Great to be here.
Maybe we'll pray for you. Everyone, please pray for him, though, as we see what the future becomes. Thank you, guys. God bless.
God bless. I feel like, Lucas, we should get a photo of the 3 of us with Miggo as luchador mask. That should be the thumbnail. That'd be the